And good afternoon to the people of the city of Albany. I represent the Welcome Center and we offer interpretation at all our official events. Estoy aquí representando al Centro de Bienvenida y nosotros ofrecemos interpretación en todos los eventos del distrito. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
The meeting.
Okay.
The pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awkward, going silent.
Counting down 1 minute, less than 1 minute to go. We don't want to start early.
No.
I think they're all here and ready though, aren't you?
What about the audience in the internet?
Public is not ready for us yet.
Public's meeting. Mr. Gardner?
That's true.
And we like to be timed.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Steph.
Howdy.
How are you guys?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Becca, is everything ready to go on your end? Okay, let's get started with the joint meeting of the Albany School Board and the Albany City Council. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start off by introducing the school board members. Chris, I'll start with you, and we'll just have you introduce yourself.
I'm Chris McLaughlin. Anything else?
Okay?
I'm Sean Taylor.
I'm Brad Wilson.
And Ryan Mattingly, board chair.
I'm Alex Johnson, the second mayor of Albany.
I'm Steph Newton, council president, representing Ward 1.
Michael Thompson, City Councilor, Ward 1.
Chris Van Dremelen, Ward 2.
Carolyn McLeod, Ward 2. Ramesia McGee, Ward 3.
Marilyn Smith, Ward 3.
Okay, thank you. We are, as we go into the work session here, where we go through the discussion topics, the first one on the agenda is our Long Range Facility Advisory Committee, and Mr. Gardner.
Yeah, and I think we have slides for that. Our intent as we work with the mayor and the board chair on the agenda is just to make sure that the areas.
Could you mic yourself? I can't hear you very well. I apologize.
Happy to. No
Thank
problem. That the areas that we were going to cover tonight are really areas that affect the both of us. And so each of us, I think, are doing some things on our own. This is one that would count for that. But we have pulled together this June and July a long-range facility advisory committee. And this is the roster of that committee. It does have some district staff that are serving on the outside, but it is marked by the presence of members from the 2016 bond committee. It is also marked by the presence of 2 members each from our classified and certified unions, one building administrator, Jody Dudera from Timber Ridge, and a couple of budget committee members as well from the district, Tim Washko, to name one. And so, and I also point out Bob Stolick is present on the committee, served the district from 1990 to 1995, an incredible historian. So that's the group. It's a large group. We have had nobody fall away, and our intention is that the committee will stay together until it recommends a facility plan to the district in the spring. A few things to briefly describe here. These are the age of our district schools, and you can see that, just in summary, one Central Elementary is 110 years old, still has kids in it. 4 are over 75 years old, 5 are over 60 years old. 15 of our 20 schools are over 50 years old, requiring SHPO determinations, right? Which is something I think you guys are familiar with. That's right. And so to do this, we certainly need to be aware of the publicly owned historic properties as we do this work. And so it's one of the challenges here, the average age, you can see the line down the middle there of our school is somewhere right around 1970, right, was the average age that most of the schools here began. This is one of the things that we regard as the opportunity, which has created the committee at this time. Typically, districts want to do their facility planning on 5 or 10-year intervals. We would love to get it to a 5-year interval. But the last committee was put together and ran from 2015 to 2016. This is 25, 26, and so we are running a plan as well. The opportunity is that the funding for the current, for the present has been roughly $2.20 to 25 cents per thousand. And you can see there in 27, that will decline and drop off to roughly $1.10. And so we regard this as an opportunity to continue to take care of older buildings. And that's really the time frame that we contemplate. So the process, what we have been doing, we have worked with the state to do a facility assessment with a company named Bureau Veritas. We have hired Sage Architects to come in, review that work. We think there's still work to be done. When our facility people, Mr. Bolin is our facility people continually looking at what their assessment of the facility is and whether or not that is adequate to the task. But we intend to move forward with tours. The committee members are signing up for building tours to walk through our buildings. We have done the bond. The slide I just showed you came from Piper Jaffray, who is in charge of they do all of our bonding work. We have done facility assessments. The district committee is now working through whether or not that is, they've had a question about some of those. And we are also looking, in December, we looked at our enrollment data and the facility assessment, including the capacity of each building, right? So how many kids are in the buildings, how many kids can fit in the buildings. And like the rest of the state, certainly you guys are following the paper and have seen Corvallis, we know that there will be a slow decline. And all of this is going to have to be milled into a final plan that will move us forward, right? And so, pretty challenging set of circumstances for the committee. Been super excited about the committee's ability to wrestle and debate these things. We've had Alex Johnson on the committee. He's been a great leader. We did hear about the East Albany project here that is, I know you guys are working towards making that happen. And so, obviously there's a bottom line issue there, right? And so right now we're building our Christmas lists, and then we'll have to, as all parents do, just work our way down to what we can afford and what we move forward. So that will be the next 6 months. I think I've called it a couple times the making of the sausage, right? And so these are the next steps. We did our first stab at district-wide concepts and meeting individual school needs. We'll begin to move more towards making that decision in March. We will go out for another poll around the priorities and see how that will affect the plan. We will present the draft plan to the board, planned for June. But we've also tentatively talked with the architects about possibly extending that if there's more work to be done. So I'll take questions if anybody has them.
In that list, of board, my question is, does staff, how much input do teachers and classified staff have had in this? And maybe there are some names on there I just looked at.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have Dana Lovejoy, the union president. We have
Yeah.
Liz Craig. We have Max Nazarian, the union vice president for teachers. We have Joanne Felice, who is the union vice president for the classified. So they are at all the meetings. They've done a great job. And of course, Joanne doesn't, I don't think any of them need a whole lot of touring. It's really the community members that who do that. But that's who is on there for classified and certified. Yeah.
You mentioned the population decrease that has been in the news in Corvallis,
Yeah.
which would impact. Do we know, how I understand, Albany's one of the, excuse me, one of the last kind of affordable places to live.
Yeah.
Our affordability is, it's much more affordable to live in Albany than Corvallis, right? By hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like if you took my house and moved it over into Corvallis, it'd probably be $250,000 more.
Yeah.
Like I'd guess. Do we have actual data based on like birth rates or knowing like how much
So-
our,
Great question. And I think our mayor would say we are definitely more affordable, and you guys have done a great job of pursuing that. What we are looking at, we have data from Flow Analytics. They do the population projections. One of the challenges is in almost every community, like Westland, Wilsonville, I don't know if you guys have followed the news.
I do.
They also are seeing populations decline, even in an affluent, Portland suburb like that. And so we are seeing that. We are not seeing the rate of decline nearly as steep as Corvallis, right? It's like, I think they were 250 kids per year on a district that was around 6,000. We are seeing more a trend of 100, 150 kids per year. This last year being the exception. When we came back this year, there were 350 students who
Okay.
had not enrolled. But for the most part, they see it as a less steep angle of decline.
are we going to have a larger kindergarten class next year? From what I understand, my son will be one of those kindergartners that it's kind of like a COVID baby boom. Everyone was home hanging out with their husband. I sure was. And we got pregnant and had a baby. So I know that there's a lot of folks that did the same thing. Are we planning for that as well? Are we going to have enough classes or? I know, kind of a crass way to put it, but there we go.
We saw a drop this year. They are looking at it as a one-year anomaly.
Okay.
And so I can probably show you after this.
Yeah, I'm curious
what
about
that
the data.
statistical. The one challenge we have is, and I think Alex would agree, Sean was there as well. It is an amalgam of assumptions when you begin to put together these long-term things. But they are treating this year as an anomaly. And so there should not be, they are thinking that there won't be that we won't continue on that glide path, that it will rebound somewhat to a slower
Okay.
rate. But the rate of decline is there.
So from the birth to retention rate, normally it's in the mid 80s to high 80s. During COVID, it kind of dropped to like the mid 70s. This year was a low of 67. They're projecting it to go back slowly up to the mid 70s, but that's just, I asked that question, they had no data to back it up. They just said, we hope it's going to go back up to this.
Okay. And then I was also curious about the polling. So I'm curious, who are you partnering with for polling? And then do you know if you're looking at like taking questions, sorry for like a two-parter, questions for like continuing or like doing an additional bond or levy to figure out priorities, since we do have schools that need?
So we have done one survey, and in my prior district, about a quarter the size, we did a survey at the outset of such work to get a general understanding of where the school district is perceived, right? And then typically districts will survey again when specific projects are identified that people want to see on that to determine if the public will support a given project, right? And so right now we've only done just a general survey. We have not surveyed on a given set of priorities because we haven't built them yet. And we avoided that so that we didn't want to be seen as like saying, hey, we want to survey on these projects yet because the committee hadn't done the work.
Yeah,
But in
we're starting.
April, you're going to poll, is it the plan?
We'll poll again, yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
and who are you working with for that polling and,
Public Affairs Council.
cool. Awesome.
And the schedule is 27 for the ballot or 20?
Yeah, you'll notice on the survey slide that 27 is the retirement of the bond there, where it drops off. And so a May date there would replace that.
May 2027?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Great question.
Other counselors?
Okay.
And then my last little plug there, I think it's the next thing on the agenda, is just we have business cards as well. Just want to make sure that we're building our readership for the newsletter that we're sending out. One of the things that the survey did show was that people were wanting to hear from us about once a month via email on certain topics. Funding, of course, would be one. We think some of these topics would be great as well. Want to give Chris McLaughlin, our new board member, kudos for her coming in saying, you guys need to communicate directly with the greater community to a greater degree. So thank
Good
you,
job.
Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
And we're working on it.
Is that all you have on number 2?
That is all I have. We'll have business cards we can pass out to you at the end of this to sign you guys up for that.
Okay, then we are on to If I Were a Mayor.
So every year, when I first got elected mayor, I waited a year so I can learn my job. But I found through the Mayor's Association the If I Were a Mayor contest. And what that is, it's a contest where children of 4th and 5th graders draw a poster, and they write on the poster what they want for their city if they were mayor. The middle schoolers write an essay, and I try to keep it under 500 words or less because I have to read all of them several times. And then the high schoolers do a video presentation, campaigns video, or the things that they want if they're a mayor with a PowerPoint or something. Our children, the last 4 years, have placed first, second, or third, 2 spots every year. So kudos to GAP's children and teachers for participating. And one of the ways I get out in the community with this is I go to the schools. They schedule me to come out, and I actually, at the high schools, they bring it up on the screen at the city's website, and I walk them through the city's website, show them how to find a strategic plan, show them how to find the report cards the city writes for us as we perform against our strategic plan. It's a great program, and our children have done great, really well. This year, or the last contest, Ashmi Larson won, and we invite the families to the mayor's conference, and we pay for everything. She won a $500 scholarship, plus the $300 scholarship from me for my business. And it's amazing how they blossom and bloom. Last year's winner, year before that, Hadley Huzefka, I think you guys all know her, she won the mayor's contest, and she gave a speech at the mayor's contest, and everybody stood up and clapped for her.
Awesome.
It was amazing. The last thing she said is, if you're the mayor 4 years from now, I'm going to come back and run against you. But it was great. And I want to tip my hat to Matt Harrington. He is really the logistics and the grunt work of this project. Every year he gets out there and gets some information from me, and he makes sure that the teachers know what's going on, how the parents can get the information back to us. So I want to say thank you to Matt for the work you do on the project as well. But again, our children are showing out and showing up, so I really appreciate that. And this year, Andy was able to come with me to award the winners, local winners, and so the looks of surprise on these children's faces is absolutely amazing. And so the program is open now. Thank you, Matthew, for posting that. And I need all the stuff back. I need all the presentations back on by March the 2nd.
Okay, any questions? Anybody?
Oh, I did have a question that my daughter asked. So there's me 2 4th graders, at least from council, that might enter this. Are the names removed? Because she said, I don't want him to choose me or not choose me.
Matthew, redact the names, right? Yeah, let Matt, yeah, please.
Since I'm next anyway, might as well just make continuity. Okay. On the posters, no, we've never had to do that, but we could certainly implement that this
Is
year.
your daughter planning on submitting, Counselor Van Dremelen?
I don't have a good read on that yet, but maybe.
All right, sounds like we're
a smart
making a
girl.
little bit of a policy change then
Yes.
with regards to
If
sport.
that's necessary, I would have no problem with that, as long as they don't put their name on the front of the poster.
Say, Mayor Alex, remember when we went and got coffee and I talked to you about responsible growth?
Just put black bars over certain areas.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we just have to make it fair, that's all.
Yeah.
If I don't know the names, I'm fine with it, I'll just pick the top 3 and go from there.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. She was wondering, she's like, I don't want to choose me because I'm your daughter. I want to choose me because I'm the best. Maybe she's competitive like her mom. Maybe she's not. You guys will never know.
Definitely, I'd like to second that. We have 9 kids in GAPS from City Council. So,
Some of them are from Counselor Van Germelen.
yeah.
Then?
Yes, 5.
5.
2 of them are not in gaps yet.
Okay, they will be soon, though. Someday soon.
So yeah, like Matt's gonna tell you, what the things that goes into it is he does a great job. So Cheryl, you're part of it.
Oh, as far as the mayor's contest?
Yes.
I mean, it's open now. Applications or entries are accepted on our website at albanyoregon.gov/ifIwereMayor. Like you said before, 4th and 5th graders do a poster, middle schoolers an essay, and high schoolers do a multimedia presentation. So
And one of the other things is that I pick the local winners, and they come to city council and present their entry to the city council. So their entry is part of the permanent records because it's in our minutes. And it's a really great thing when the young person sits down and tell their parents to go back and they sit and read their essay or present their poster by themselves. So it's a blessing to see these young people blossom like that. And
this is our 5th year doing a local contest.
right,
So
and our kids have won first, second, or third, 2 spots each year since we started the program.
How exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the mayor contest?
That's it.
Okay, then we'll move on to, which is still you, the City Circle Academy, High School Civic Academy with high school participation.
yes, hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Harrington. I am the Communications and Engagement Manager for the city. These folks already knew that. And this will be a little bit of a retread for you guys. But I just wanted to give you guys a short summary of an event that we were fortunate to be able to do this year. And that is our first annual Civic Academy for the city of Albany. As you know, with the schools, outreach to the public is very important, and giving people the knowledge they need to weigh in on issues is very important. So like I said, this fall we were able to hold that academy with the assistance of Portland State University's National Policy Consensus Center. And we were pleasantly surprised to start out with double the amount of applicants as we had spots. So that was clear to us that there was a hunger for this information about how the city works and kind of a behind the scenes. So over the course of 6 weeks, participants who reflected a diversity in age, in demographic, in geographic location within the city were able to participate, and that included 2 current students at South Albany High School, one of which is class president, and just both exceptional students. So we were fortunate to have them in this group. This year we invited them to tackle an issue that City Council was very interested in, which is how we increase youth engagement from the city to youth. And so they spent a long time interviewing and researching and kind of distilling down all that information into methods and opportunities for increased youth engagement by the city. So they presented to City Council at our November 19th City Council meeting, and that video is out there on our website if you'd like to go take a look at that presentation. They also developed a very extensive memo of their research that is also on our website that has several items that the school district is more in charge of, for lack of a better term, things that they thought would make it easier for students to participate in engaging with the city. So I encourage you to go out and take a look at that. Where we are at this point after that presentation is staff, myself, and Kinsey McIntosh, who's my communications and engagement specialist. We are going to take their suggestions and distill that down further into an actionable plan of how we can move forward with some of this engagement. And that's really through a lens of budgetary bandwidth, scalability, sustainability of, something like youth group, some kind of advisory role for youth to have, and also Oregon Public Records Law and how we deal with that. So taking all of those considerations and bringing a proposal back to City Council on how we can move forward with that. So I'll certainly be reaching out to your staff, especially Becca, on how we can interface and move that forward probably in the next school year. So anyway, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is the city transportation planning process. Looks like we've got I didn't bring my glasses, but you've got Kristen Preston and Stacy Belcastro.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Belcastro. My position in the Public Works Department is city engineer. For those of you who don't know, our director position in Public Works is currently vacant, and so in the meantime, myself and then our operations manager, Kristen Preston, are covering the splitting the duties between the engineering division and the operations division. So tonight, I'm going to go ahead and provide information on a couple of the planning documents that the engineering division uses, and then Kristen Preston will provide some information on our operations division. So the Transportation System Plan, or TSP, it's one of the planning documents that guides development and construction in Albany. The TSP is updated about every 10 to 15 years, and we are about to initiate a new update next year in 2026. We hope to have a consultant under contract by this spring. The TSP update, it shows where future transportation project and growth are going to happen throughout the city. And in that way, it affects where people live, which the school district can consider when planning for future school locations. The update, ODOT covers most of the cost, and they also guide the process to make sure that everything lines up with local and state codes. Cars are a big part of this plan, but it also considers other ways that people travel throughout the city, sidewalks, our transit system, bicycle, our paths and trails. Public input is a really important part of the TSP update. And so you will see a dedicated website that our communication engagement officer, Matt Harrington, will share. We'll be forming a stakeholder group, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for community members to share their thoughts and ideas during its development. The TSP, when it's completed, it's going to include a list of projects. These projects end up in another planning document that the engineering division uses, the Capital Improvement Program. The Capital Improvement Program, it is updated every 2 years. It includes a list of anticipated projects over a 5-year planning window. And this is for public works, fire, police, urban renewal, what am I missing? Accessibility. There's chapters for all of these subjects in the CIP. The first 2 years are included in the city budget. During design and construction, staff definitely does consider gaps in writing contracts for our capital projects. An example of this is we constructed street improvements to North Albany Road and Salem Avenue over this summer. And the contractors couldn't start working in the road on these projects until after school was out. And then the work inside the right-of-way had to be completed before school started. All of this information on the CIP and the TSP is available on the city's website, which we can share links to if you're interested. We have a project information map that shows projects that are located throughout the city that are under planning, design, or construction, and you can click on these links to get information on who to contact if you want to find out more information. Also, this is timely with the inclement weather that's going to be coming in. We typically have maps that show where road closures are located, and then we also offer sandbag locations if needed. I don't think that this event is going to be that bad, but that is out there. And I will go ahead and hand it over to Kristen.
Good afternoon. I'm Kristen Preston. I'm the Public Works Operations Manager, and I oversee the crews that operate and maintain our water, wastewater, sewer infrastructure, as well as our street maintenance and transit service. And there are a few ways that we interact with the school district, and one of them is a very specific intergovernmental agreement that we have with the district that provides we provide routine maintenance for one of your sewer lift stations that serves the West Albany High School. Recently, our staff have been working closely with your facility staff on some improvements that are needed for that facility and pumps, which is one of those 50-plus-year-old facilities. This relationship and agreement has been working well. Our operations staff also enjoy hosting GAP students for field trips at our water and wastewater treatment plants, as well as Talking Water Gardens wetland, where students learn about where their drinking water comes from, how we treat it, and where it goes when it goes down the toilet, which is always very popular. Also, our environmental services staff sometimes get requests from teachers to do classroom presentations on the water cycle or watershed topics. These requests for field trips and presentations have been much less in recent years, and we have not quite bounced back from COVID. But they're still available, and we have an online request form on our website, and we can share a link to that if you're interested. We also offer limited funding for bus transportation and for a substitute teacher, because sometimes that can be a barrier for being able to have a field trip. Finally, Stacy and I would like to plug that there are many career opportunities in Public Works for all education levels, both on operations side of things or engineering side. And we're trying to get this message out to students, and our staff have participated and are happy to participate in any career fairs that the district may offer. If you have any questions for either Stacy and I, we'd be happy to answer them.
I don't necessarily have a question for you, but for you, Andy, you know, I know a lot of things in schools happen because they happened last year. And so when you have a big interruption like COVID, you may have had something that got dropped and just sort of got forgot about. And I wonder if those field trips are on that list. Maybe it's a good idea to remind.
Note on that.
Yeah, remind people that that's available.
Thank you.
Good field trips.
Yeah, I've heard good things, and yeah, I could see them just accidentally getting dropped and forgotten about.
Another something else is that the city councilors are willing to talk with young people if they have questions about the city. Not just me, they all have city councilors in the ward they represent. Well, you talk to young people all day, so it's okay. But I'm sure the councilors would be happy to do one-on-one or informational interviews. I know our city manager in the past has done informational interviews as well.
Okay, excellent. Next is our Albany Community Pool Partnership. Kim.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor, Council, board members. My name is Kim Ledane, and I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the city. So I have the pleasure of presenting to you about Albany Community Pool, which I'm gonna do it. Has everybody been to Albany Community Pool?
Yes.
Okay, all right, hello. So you all can imagine what I'm talking about as we go through this. So just to give you a little bit of history is how we work together on this. So it is a school district facility. The Parks and Rec has been operating it since 1996 through an intergovernmental agreement. It's a 50-meter Olympic-sized pool that in 2026 will be turning 47 years old. So we're currently operating on 5-year leases. Our current one will go until 2029. As part of that agreement, the school district gets up to 800 hours of space that they can program for things like swim team, water polo, water safety awareness, and various foundation events. On our end, the city pays for 2 full-time staff to help to run the pool, one of which is in the back. Thank you, Scott. As well up to 60 part-time staff that can be anything from lifeguards to facility leads, water safety instructors, fitness instructors. It really does take a little small village in order to keep people safe and happy around water. Some additional information. Last year, the city subsidized the aquatics program about a little over $700,000. And on average, our staffing costs about 70% of that, just because it is so labor intensive. As far as programs go, last year we had close to 45,000 visits between school programs and the general public. One thing that we're, I think, all very proud about is that over 1,300 third and fourth graders are able to participate in water safety awareness, which is an amazing program funded through the Scharf Foundation. As a reminder, that isn't funded by you all or us. That is the goodness of our community coming through, and that program costs about $58,000 this year to run. But we're one of the few that is left, and it provides students 8 days in the water or out of the water, learning all sorts of fun things, and it has been proven to help save lives, which is amazing. In addition to that, we offer lap swim, exercise classes, parent-child classes, swim lessons, rec swims, club sports, as well as rentals. So it really is used quite a bit. We do have some good news, as I know that you all are probably eagerly waiting, just like everybody else, our therapeutic spa. We've had a grassroots group probably for almost 10 years now, trying to find a way to replace our old above ground hot tub. Let's call it was. It was an above ground hot tub that had to be decommissioned, as the last time we did repairs on it, it had over 200 cracks that needed to be sealed. And so that has been out for several years. This grassroots group has collected over $20,000 in donations, and that's pop cans, that is craft fairs, that is everything in between. And then they were lucky enough to receive a $180,000 foundation grant several years ago. So shout out to David Bolin, as he has been an amazing contact and partner in this. We're hoping that we'll be able to put out for bids next year. Nope, next year. Yes, next year is accurate. That feels too far away. It's sometime in early 2026 in the hopes of seeing it finally come to fruition sometime this year. So we know there are lots of folks in our community who count on that to help themselves feel better, our adaptive community, and we hope that we're finally able to cross that finish line very soon. Lastly, in chatting about a building that is 47 years old and used all the time, when we entered into our latest 5-year lease, we identified, what we estimated about $800,000 worth of improvements that we thought would needed to be made in the next 5 to 10 years. This includes items such as lighting, the boiler, plaster. Fun fact, it costs about $350,000 to plaster a pool.
$350,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our plaster is well over its lifespan. And so everything's very, very expensive. A new bulkhead, over $100,000. So when things happen, it's not just money that we can find in our couch cushions or in our, from another budget that we can move over. Like, they need to be planned for well in advance. And David and I both had this conversation that we both need each other. Neither one of us have deep pockets. So we're going to need to be creative and strategic in figuring out what this looks like, and but also very upfront with you all that it is going to need finances in the upcoming future in order to remain a functioning facility. So there was talk earlier about the facility assessment as far as long-range planning goes. We just got those numbers back, and it's approximately $6 million worth of repairs. So this will hopefully be conversations for all of us as we move together in the future. We are looking for grant opportunities. For example, the school district's applying for one through the Energy Trust of Oregon to hopefully repair the lighting, which would be a chunk of that. But once again, as you can imagine, a facility that is of that age, like everything else, it needs some TLC. So we take great pride in running our programs out there, and we're just very thankful that we've been able to work with you all over the past to keep the resource available, and we look forward to getting creative with you in the future. So, any questions?
Do you know if it would, this might be a question for both the school board and also for you, Director Ledane. Is there a way to do, so if we're going out for like a levy or bond potentially in 2027, is there a way to have any of that bond be go directly to part of the $6 million hole?
It's up for consideration. Yep.
Is there a way that the city can work more directly with you to do that? Or is that a way to make that a priority? Or is there something we could do on our end?
I think it would be in the mill. I think we had seen that a previous survey had actually asked a question. And I would have to go back, I can't remember. We did include a few small items. We would
Lighting was
definitely
one of
not be, and I think was it one of them?
I think it was lighting was one of them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but I think the Energy Trust of Oregon could be accomplished outside of the bond. The lighting, because you can get a lighting efficiency, but that's something that we would be open to looking at.
So have we, I'm, you know what I do for a living. AARP is always pushing grant stuff to me. I'll send you ones I think would be beneficial, because I know our seniors use the pool. And with that, how is the programming for seniors out there? Is there multiple opportunities for the seniors to go?
I'd say a very good amount of our lap swimmers are our senior population. We also have really strong exercise programs out there. There is a sense of community for folks who use the pool, and it is a safe space that you can exercise comfortably after a variety of, well, it's just easier in water. So yes, we do have quite a bit of seniors out there. We can run our reports to get a breakdown. I have attendance drop-in numbers for each one of those classes, but we're certainly gonna, we're going to have to look under some other rocks to figure it out. With part of the lease in the past, it's been kind of described, and it still is that, GAPS is responsible for the envelope of the building and the essential like structure and function, and we're the operating stuff. I think we're going to need to figure out what that what that looks like moving forward, because, yeah.
I was also just curious, do we have an expectation for when the Corvallis pool is fixed, if our attendance rate is going to drop, or if we're going to have fewer kids?
Sure. So for folks who don't know, Corvallis, their property is also owned by the school district, also operated by Parks and Rec, and they've been closed since September of 2023 indoors due to a structural issue. I think this just brings it home that, in all honesty, a lot of our aquatic facilities in the valley and everywhere were built around the same time, have had about the same amount of maintenance and TLC, and as a result, we're all finding ourselves in a very similar boat. Once it originally closed, we did receive a little bit of a bump of folks who are coming over. It's not enough that we've had to upstaff or anything like that, just because folks have kind of dispersed across various pools depending on what location and services that they're interested in. But I don't anticipate it'll be a big hit for us financially or attendance-wise, as it's been a nice increase, but not enough that is really driving anything new.
Okay, excellent.
You had mentioned that there's a $6 million maintenance requirement going forward for the pool.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, this was information that was passed along through the facilities assessment. I think that information will be shared with you at a later time. We just got it on Friday afternoon.
Okay. I was just seeing $817,000 articulated on this form. I wondered where the other 5.2 was going, so.
I can work with David and we can connect. We just got the paperwork late on Friday.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
So that came from our architects, and you got a copy of it. Yeah.
I've been
So
pestering him.
that would have prevailing wage, bond pricing in the work.
Okay.
So this is way outside of my expertise, but I do have a couple questions.
Yeah.
It's running at a deficit, obviously. You said $700K. Yep. What is the operating, like, what percentage of the budget is that? Operating budget.
For our
Yeah, for like, what does a pool cost to run a year?
a little over $1 million.
Okay, so 30% of the revenue is covered. Okay, and is that typical of pools in the area?
Depending on age and programs that are being run.
Okay.
Pools are wonderful community resources, but they're like boats. You just throw money into them.
Yeah, well, and when I look at and I love our pool, right? And I think we're
Yeah.
lucky to have it. But when I compare it to, pool Eugene Springfield or whatever, there's not a lot of, it's a pool. That's kind of all it is, right? There's not a lot of other things that would bring in revenue, right? And so I don't, because we own it, it's on our campus, and maybe that's not even an option to think about ways to expand it or make it more appeal. I don't know. But have we looked at all that stuff, I guess, is the short question.
I think it's questions that are going to be bubbling up as we all kind of work together to figure out what the future of that facility looks like. Back in the day, I think we received a lot more tournaments and rentals and all of that because of its Olympic-sized facility. But since, 20 years, a lot of other places have built facilities that have concessions, different HVAC, different, larger areas for spectators and viewing and parking. And so as a result, a lot of times meets go where the amenities are the newest.
Yeah.
And so despite, so I think that's where we're losing some of that. So I think that could certainly be a question that we look at as to what the economic impact could be for the whole community for us to look at revitalizing that. It would just be a matter if it's in the same footprint and how much that would cost.
Okay. Yeah, I think as a community, we really need to look hard at, because I love the pool, but if it comes down to, do we support the pool or do we buy curriculum or have teachers, we're going to have to go with curriculum and teachers, right? So we want to try to make it not at that level of choice, I think.
And on our end, we're getting ready to do a community survey to go on out to the public to say, hey, when's the last time you participated in a program? What would you like to see? If you've stopped participating in programs, why is that? Is it time? Is it money? Is it location? Is it amenities? So we're going to be trying to do a little bit of a deeper dive with all of our programs. So that should be coming out pretty soon. And just kind of taking a look at our costing model. And in all honesty, that might, we might have to balance some things out there a little bit more. But additional amenities are a lot of times what sells. I think that's, besides sunshine, Cool Pool has a slightly different flavor because it's a limited area. It is more bells and whistly, but our local competitive swim teams and water polo teams aren't, they wouldn't be able to do that. So we just got to mix it up. But I appreciate your question, and I like where you're thinking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director.
All right, thanks you.
Thank you.
Next up is School Resource Officer Partnership.
Chief Marsha Herndon.
Chief Herndon. Marsha Herndon.
Good afternoon, council, board members. I was going to say good afternoon or good evening because it's like midnight outside. Welcome to fall. So I do have a couple slides. I'm Marsha Herndon. I'm the chief of police. The agenda showed the mayor, and he was welcome to steal the thunder, but I'll go ahead and take care of it. So just hit go. Okay. There we go. As you all know, we do have an active school resource program, and I did a little bit of research in the history of it. We've had basically a program in place fairly consistently since 2006. So quite a bit of time that we've been engaged with the school district here. We also have our SROs that are engaged with our private schools as well on the safety front. We've had a few pauses over time, some due to COVID, obviously, as schools were closed, although we still had some systems in place to interact with our kiddos. And the other reason was either financial on one party or the other, or staffing, and that's generally on my side. Since 2020, we've had a fairly significant staffing crisis when it comes to law enforcement officers across the country. Currently, we have 2 assigned, but you're only really seeing one, which is John Wymore. He's doing his best to be as visible as he can at all of the schools. The other one assigned is Gina Bell. We had to move her over into our detective section. We had some attrition out of there, and the role that those people had prior to departure was child abuse investigations, and obviously those have to be staffed. And so we moved Gina Bell over to that position temporarily, and then as soon as we can get a body up there, we'll move her back or get her replaced if she ends up being the person. So we generally try to give you at least 2. They split the high schools. One takes west and one takes south, and they do all the feeder schools in between. The goal is always to increase safety within the schools. I'll talk a little bit about the the drills and stuff we do every year, but the big thing is build relationships. I have a number of police officers we have other city employees that engage with SROs over the years are now employees within police agencies and or government jobs. So there's definitely a tie there. I was a school resource officer in the city of Bellevue from 1997 to 1999, and I have friendships today that were students back in those years. So those relationships really matter, and that's what we really focus on. It is a cost-sharing model. Is the current IGA in place from 23 to 27 this year, and I do an approximate is $185,000 that the school district pays to reimburse the city, and it's approximate because it varies from year to year based on our current CBA in place for salary and benefits for the police officers. And so if this shortage or lack of full staffing draws out, we always can re-enter discussions about those IGAs. As you've heard from...
Was that per year or for the entire span for 2023 to 2027?
That's the current per year. So there's 2 years that are to be determined because we need to look at what the cost of salary and benefits are for those 2 years. So that's the current model right now. The approximate calls per year is 235. You've heard our SROs report out to you about some of the activity that they've had. That's for the 24 to 25 school year. 35 cases, so not a ton of paperwork produced, some criminal cases, some referrals to our juvenile department, but a lot of times the model is to intervene. So we have a great relationship with Linn County Juvenile, and Benton County is the same on the other side of the river. And so whatever we can do to keep the kiddo out of the system is good. But there are some cases that just need to go in front of a judge, in front of the DA's office. The more notable successes, it was an ambitious goal a few years ago, but with the assistance of the superintendent's office and staff, we do 2 active threat skills drills in each school every year. One is planned and one is more spontaneous. And through that process, we work with staff and our other officers, our patrol officers will come in and look for any areas of gaps, pardon the pun, where we can fill in some training, infrastructure, things like that. So quite a bit of uplift to get those done, but it is one, I think, built a sense of practice, unfortunately, with the kids and staff about if something bad happens, we're a little bit more prepared on that. And any questions I can answer for you?
I was curious, you mentioned child abuse cases. How many of those are we seeing, and it's SROs that are identifying those?
So they will take some. Some will come in through mandatory reporters within the school district, but many will also come in through CPS or DHS. We call them 307 reports. If it's school-related or school-generated, sometimes the SROs will be assigned those. But we do, and it's a sad state, we do about 1,700 child abuse reports every year. And so we have 6 detectives now, soon to be 7. Half of our detectives do those cases. Our patrol officers take some. Sometimes it's just a welfare check. And then the SROs, if it's specific to a child that might have reported within the school setting, not that the allegations against a school employee, but it came in through a school setting, the SRO might get those to follow up on.
And just so I don't have my heart totally shattered, is 1,700, sometimes those are maybe 100 of those could be one child. It's not 1,700 individual children.
I wish I had the statistics. I could probably track it down for you. Sometimes there are repeat families that come through that the kiddo's reaching out to multiple people, and so we'll get multiple over reports, but there's a fair number out there. It's a significant workload that we're trying to manage. In fact, through the last city budget process, we increased the detective in number as well as police officer to try to take off some of that load.
Okay, and not that I'm saying that I want one child to have a report 100 times, but I meant the over-reporting. Just, you know what I mean?
I applaud this program because I never knew when I was in elementary school and middle school, I had to behave because my mother was, back then, an SRO. She would come to the school and, oh, your mom's here. Change the behavior, I tell you. It keeps you sane, keeps you out of fights. But I think it's a good program to connect the officers with the kids in the community and also teachers as well.
Yeah, the relationship piece, you can't really quantify the return on investment on relationships for, and maybe decades down the line, but that's really the real win out of this.
This comes full circle. Like my first contract when I was on the school board was SROs, and doing some asking around, building administrators and teachers just 100% saw the value of it. And it points out in the contract, there's some intentionality about who gets assigned. This isn't just a seniority thing. And so it really is a quality program, and it's just on us. That 185,000 is not insignificant, and it's on us to make sure it continues, because it's a great program in the schools.
Thank you.
Chief Harden, I wanted to kind of echo that and commend yourself and your SRO officers. They have always presented with professionalism, and I've heard nothing but positive from the schools. Even when they've had to deal with bad situations, they handle it with grace and kindness. And please tell Gina, we know she's doing important work, but we'd love to see her back in the schools if she gets that under control, because she's a force. She's incredible. And John's going to be excellent. I can't wait to see what he does going forward. So,
Councilor McLeod.
Thank you. On the topic of law enforcement and our schools, I've had residents reach out to me with concerns about immigration and customs enforcement activities in Albany. For today's meeting, I'd like to ask what the district policies and procedures are for interacting with these federal agents on school property, as well as what kind of education or information is available to our students who may be worried about what could happen to them or their loved ones if they are detained, even if they are here legally.
I'll defer to the school district.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we have done a great deal of communication out to the families and support, and we do have a plan in place to respond very quickly should anyone show up at the door of our school or be present on school ground to do that work. To date, we have not seen anyone come on our school grounds to do that. They typically have taken that action away from the school. And our work has been to support those families in place where they are once that has occurred. And it's a very distressing situation, for sure. We don't want anybody to be, just taken without warrant. And we, to date, this has not occurred at our schools.
So what's the plan if federal agents show up to the school, like the high school, looking for a senior who is 18 already?
So our staff is to call us immediately and we will respond. There has to be a warrant to do that. And so we have that, but it feels like they have moved around that at this point, but there is a plan in place at all of our schools for that.
And what type of education is provided to the students about ICE activities and what to do if they come home and no one is home? I had a parent from South Shore Elementary reach out to me. Her first grader came home with information from the school about what to do if they come home and no one is there. Do you have information about this? And is this information given to what grades this information is given to, what schools, that type of thing?
Well, I think we've sent it out broadly, but I would also say that even this morning we heard that we are probably behooved to continue to, in more detail, educate all of our staff so that our staff could also support like what steps we would take. We have taken the steps to get it to the families, but if the school staff isn't aware, then it'll be tough to bridge that. And so, but we have sent that out. We'd be happy to share that with you.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you.
thank you.
That brings us to the end of our agenda.
I had a quick question, since it's kind of since it's a public meeting for me. I had something I wanted to be able to address to my council real quick. It would take me just a few minutes. So I had a West Albany High School student reach out to me, and she got one of the tickets. She turned right on a red light, and she wrote me a letter too, but I'm not going to read it. It was really, she explained to me it was really confusing when she was told to come in for a court date. It was during her AP math class, and she's applying to college, and it's been kind of just hard and stressful for her. And she's trying to, since she's a senior, she's trying to, deal with this on her own. And then she gave me everything that she got. It does seem kind of like a confusing, convoluted process. And then the diversion that program.
For purpose of our meeting Wednesday night.
Well, I might not be here on Wednesday, actually. I have a conference down in Los Angeles, so I'm going to hopefully be here but I wanted to mention that the diversion program that as it's laid out currently from our municipal court doesn't align with how we discussed it previously. So I just want to let you guys know about this. I'll get these scanned, this paperwork scanned over and sent to you guys. But I wanted to just bring this up to everyone and make sure everyone was aware. So.
Well, I would like to thank you guys for attending tonight with us. I thought it was great. I learned a lot. Appreciate, Kim, your statement about the city and the school district working together. And I did not get a chance to have our staff do a lot of presenting tonight, but they have already told me they're looking forward to next year's when they can. Is that correct? Am I right?
So I started this, when I first got elected mayor, I talked with my city manager. I wanted to have this type of meeting with each county, school board, and also with LBCC at some point. We meet every 2 months with the chamber, a city leadership meeting, roundtable, and this is something that helps build connection and strengthen those ties. So I'm really happy about this.
Okay.
Super great.
Thank you all. I will adjourn us.